What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm here this week with my co-host Randy Baines, as Christine is out taking her kids on a vacation, which is, of course, why we all got into trading to begin with, to be having fun with our family, spending time with our family, and doing what matters to us. So, we really want to take. Maybe this might be a shorter episode. We're not sure. We're going to be pretty off the cuff with it, but we really want to be breaking down our review process for the week because I find it's so important that I go into my Monday not only with a game plan for the next week, but also having thoroughly reviewed the prior week and my performance and my mistakes. This is Behind the Charts podcast, where real traders have real conversation. What was maybe a mental loop, or like what was something that I wasn't focused on enough in the last week that maybe I just let slip my mind too many times, and something that I'm going to really take into this week and make sure that I lock in and just put extra emphasis on, because I think as traders we go through large fluctuations with where our focus is and how consistent we are with our decision making. So I find a weekly review is a good place to put some effort into that space. So let's kick it off, Randy. How was your week? And what are you thinking about going into the weekend?
You know what? Overall, it was a great week. I ended the week with, some poor decisions when it came to trading. But again, I still ended the week green. I could have taken the Friday off, and I really contemplated this. And this was something that bugged me for a bit later on into Friday, because coming Thursday night and coming into Friday morning, I had a beautiful green week and said, 4 green days, I might as well take the day off. And I had basically starting the week down 5K from last week. I had a really rough week last week, and I made all that back in the first 4 days, and I was basically flat on the month. So there was a part of me that just said, hey, just throw in the towel, like be good with it. But I was going on stream with ASFX with Austin and Lawrence and Tanner, and things didn't work the way I wanted it to. Obviously, I got a little bit. I don't want to use the word unprofessional. That's how it started. I was saying unprofessional last week, and when I was writing it down, I was talking about being unprofessional. But after reflecting on it over the weekend, it really wasn't. I wasn't being unprofessional in the way that I was doing it, like from a place of, I don't know what the right word is. Like I was just being my Instagram story summed it up best. I just said I was trying to be cute. That's all it was. I was on stream. Austin was short. I saw, a glimpse of a super, super low probability long present itself to me. And that glimpse just, I felt like being cute and fading Austin and having fun on stream. And yeah, it just spilled over into 2 bad trades that cost me $1,200 on the week. So, but it wasn't even then. It was just as I'd read the chat, some people had followed me on the first long. Whether they followed me a lot or not, I shouldn't say that. But anyways, took the same long right after I took it. And that's what bugged me more about than me losing the trades. It's just that if someone's watching me and, and either learning things from me or I'm learning from them, and then you go and it's just bad advice, I guess you'd call it, right? Like, I don't know how to word it, but you know what I'm trying to say. So,
what's interesting about what you said, and something that I've been thinking about a lot and noticing about myself, and I think it's more about just us as humans, is you started what you said with how you ended the week on a negative note, but not talking about all the positives of ending green, having 4 green days. And I am guilty of this just the same, of like I almost need to end my Friday on either a really high note with following my process extremely well and taking that loss, or ending it on a green note. And like I can say I actually had a Friday where I oversized a bit. I definitely oversized a bit, and it led to me pulling my trades early. I made a normal amount of P&L, and my trades were great. I had great entries. I had great take profits, but I sized in so heavily that I didn't even let the trade get to the take profit. And I just want to get your take, and just like, what do you think about how we always find the negative to dwell on a little bit more than the positive? Because I think it's like part of us being, really self-critical which we need in this industry, but also ties into the, we need to be more kind to ourselves.
Yeah, no, I don't. And I'm glad you noticed the way that I worded all that, because I didn't even think about it like that, because I was actually trying to be quite positive about it. But obviously, I think when things stick with you is your subconscious or unconscious, whatever you want to say, is going to let it come out in the way that it's going to present itself. Whether it's me telling you a story and I'm telling you how much I had fun, but the language I use, obviously, I'm just trying to cover up the fun I didn't have by saying, you know what, like, so no, but just being self-critical and for me, and like I said, it wasn't even the trades or anything. Even after I looked back at it, I preached this for the last, I don't know, 6 weeks or 2 months. Like, don't fight the VWAP. Both of my losing trades, what did I do? I fought the VWAP. Like, I fought the New York VWAP. I broke my rule that's been winning me every trade. Every winning trade I've had in the last 6 weeks, I'm on the other side of the New York VWAP. And it doesn't matter which direction I'm going, I'm at least trading on the other side of the VWAP, not trying to trade against it. I'm trading with it. And what did I do on Friday? I didn't trust my process and I broke those rules, right? So
what is it about trading on stream? Because I too it's like almost every time I'm fading Austin or I'm fading someone else. When I trade with Evan, I'm normally going with Evan's direction, but the amount of times I'm fading Austin is pretty high. And I always see it as like this is the entry that I wanted, but also sometimes I find it's very hard to flip my bias once I'm in the trade, and there's this different pressure that's added. So you've been on stream a lot recently. How has that affected your trading and maybe your thoughts after? Because I know that's what you're thinking about from Friday.
So the thing with on Thursday and the week previous, I'd went on Zach Voyage's stream, and both times I was on the stream, I went long, he went short. He basically took profits, and either I bought where he took profit or we were in the same move and he just scalped his way down and then I just took it back up. So it was this beautiful harmony or symphony of, a buyer and a seller showing people that you can look at the market however which way you want, and someone can get in here and out here and in here and out here. It was it was just a super cool feeling. So I think that spilled over to the stream the next day with Austin. But then with Austin, I have this level of competitiveness where he's my good friend. We joke around all the time. We have that relationship. Like the three of us, like when me and Austin are together, it's just a completely different dynamic. Like we talk like we've known each other forever. So I have that dynamic. Now I get to prove basically my mentor wrong. And I get to fuck with them on stream, which is, I wouldn't do that with Zach because me and Zach are being very professional, where me and Austin aren't. We're being, our friendship comes out before our professionalism, most of the time when we're hanging out. And so it was just all these factors. And I was like, here's my chance. I'm going to roast him on stream and I'm going to have fun with it. And then I'm going to, just like he always roasts me, right? It's our nature. And
if anything, it's like you're trying to show an educational perspective too on the stream of like, how cool is it that we went long, went short, both made money. And we've seen this in the seminars, in person, all these things. So
that's where the comfortability of knowing Austin for so long and being, a little bit more silly on the ASFX stream with him showed on my Friday trades, where with Zach, I was very professional about it, waited for my entry, had a full thesis behind it. And it just worked out where I traded up and he traded down, and we both we did it twice. So that was professional. Me just taking along for the sake of taking along because there was a pop and a candle, and I thought we were going to get some moves of 3 candles we're going to print in a row, and Austin would have got stopped out. I would have took profits, and it would have been funny, like ha ha ha. And that's why I only took it in one account. Where I took the trade on Zach's stream, I took it across all my accounts because I was confident, convicted, and I'm on the right side of the VWAP. I know what I'm looking at. I've seen this present before. Bookmap's giving me my confluences. So all of that, and anyways, it stuck with me. Yeah, like I was saying to you, and I think we were talking about it just before today, before we started filming, how it kind of stuck with me. But I'm definitely over it. I just want everybody to know, like I put it out across all my socials that This is how I feel. I don't matter. I'm not trying to. Nobody sent me any hate mail or sent me, anything funny, like any shit like that. It's just truly how I felt as a person, and it was my. Even though, like, now we make this podcast, so now we're on a stage. People are watching this podcast. I can say in this podcast, full port 50 contracts. If one of those trade hits, you're going to get a payout or something stupid, or you're going to pass an eval in one of 50 evals you blow, one you'll pass. I guarantee it if you just wake up every morning and full port 10 contracts, right? But that's not who you and I are, or who we, at least what I want. What I want to do is give people truly knowledge and stuff that they can use in real life. That's going to help them.
It's interesting because, like, we're so at a certain point, your A, B, and C setup, and what's the high probability and the low probability trade, and we still take them. For example, for me, when I'm reviewing my week, I had a trade. It was on Wednesday, so I took a trade. I'm trading 2 different accounts right now, and the way I'm managing them is I have one. It's like my first string account. My goal with that is just get green on the day. So if I win my first trade, I'm done with that account and I immediately switch over to the other account. So I get green and then I see another setup, basically where it's above the New York VWAP, retests, breaks the high of day VWAP, and now I'm in. I ended up taking a full loss on that trade, and that was a good trade. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. But then my brain starts to look at the charts and see, oh, it was these 2 double bottoms here on the wicks and this and that. Oh, now I'm getting in at the lower price. It's bouncing off of NQ's New York VWAP. And in my head, I know this is like my worst setup presenting, because for me personally, my worst setup is always the second one that I take. It's not the first one. It's when I get stopped out on an idea that's still valid, but I don't give it the time to represent the proper re-entry. And I'm in that little bit of fight or flight mode, really wanting to get the P&L back. I feel like I'm right inside. And as I'm saying this all out loud, I can see how stupid this sounds. Like, like you're never right unless if you're closed the trade in the green. And even at the end of the day, maybe you're not right and you just won the probability. And we just still make these mistakes. We still take these trades. And I wonder if 5 years down the line, we're going to be saying, I don't take these trades at all anymore. Or when I take them, I either manage them differently or I size down in them or something. I wonder how we will manage these certain kinds of trades in the future.
I guarantee you we won't be taking them. I truly believe that when you become the best trader you can be, you'll be taking a minimal amount of trades. And you'll be not even looking for your best setup. You'll just take your trade. You'll be content what you get out of the trade and you'll be done. You won't be looking for that re-entry. I think when you're, again, this is my personal opinion and I'm so new to this, but right now I'm at a point where, and even you might be the opposite, Thomas, where you'll take 2-3 trades in a day. If I take one losing trade and I just don't feel confident, I'm done for the day. I won't wait for something to present. And there's other people that wait for something to present and get their loss back, get more than their loss back, finish the day green, finish the day double green, whatever it is. And I used to always chase that for a long time. For me, for months, I would be chasing, trying to get either the loss back or just getting some green of a day. And now for me, it's like I had that losing day on Friday, the 2 trades. I took an individual trade in each one of my 150Ks. And I didn't touch my 50Ks. And I was like, that's it. Like, I don't need to try and trade now my 50Ks, which I'm trading. I got 100% win rate on those accounts. I don't need to try and trade something here to prove something to myself or to get back the $1,000 I lost. Because if I'm truly profitable and a good trader, that $1,000 is just it's a blip. Like, it's go with my P&L. When I look back at the quarter, that $1,000 loss is going to mean nothing to me, right? Like, it's not going to affect my whatever I'm shooting for every quarter or every year, whatever, whenever I do my actual look at how I did overall, not like every week. So I truly believe we won't be making those kind of trades because there won't be a need for it. And I think right now we're still in this needing phase of proving ourselves right, or proving someone else right, or getting to a payout, or just the fact of having that winning feeling on a Friday and being like heading into the weekend knowing that you had a green day. And I had 5 green days in a row, but how many people have 5 green days in a row? Like,
100%. And when I think about my week, I really had a huge mindset shift that I'm really like looking forward to taking into, the rest of my trading career, because I feel like this week was the first time, I might even say ever, that I didn't look at the P&L of the trade during the trade. And I was just looking at how many ticks in profit am I in comparison to my entry, and thinking about, okay, this is where the wall of orders on Bookmap is. I remember so clear. It was like, hits it. I'm like, you know what? I'm taking it here. I'm not even gonna wait. And I just took it and was so content with like trading the process. And one thing that came with that is you get this feeling inside of you where you're just itching to get into the market. And those are the trades that I think we're going to be taking every time in the future. And it's right now when you still get a little bit of human greed. You still get a little bit of like angst or whatever it is that makes you get into that trade that isn't the best. But after you have so much screen time, like you instinctively know I need to be in this market. And then it's just about being patient and waiting for your exact setup. And yeah, do you feel that same way about certain setups?
exactly. Now I'm getting to the point where even like I have my calendar open right now, and Monday was 2 trades, Tuesday was 2 trades, Wednesday was 3 trades, and 3 trades on Thursday, and then 2 trades on a Friday. That's progression for me, seeing numbers like that. Where before it used to be 4 trades, 5 trades, 6 trades, 4, not more than 6 trades. Like I wasn't trading 20 trades a day. I was when I first started. But the progression of like a 2 trade day for me I waited for those 2 setups. They were really good. I had $1,000 day. Like, what more do I need to, instead of trying to chase momentum or catching, scalping something. It's the other thing I'm trying to get away from is the term scalping. I think I use it a little bit too loosely, where I think I want to just, heading into next week, I'm looking to take 5 points out of my trades on ES.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
just 5 points.
Yeah, and I'm looking to trade these because I'm copy trading 7 accounts, and I got to remember that. So if I can stack this week, I stacked up like $150 wins in each account, winning trades that I took in them. And so when you add that up over 7 accounts, that's, what is that, like 1050 or so, just over $1,000. I don't need to get a payout in that account. I'm taking a payout in 7 accounts. If I took that in 6 weeks, even 2 months, that's still, it goes back to the conversation we had before on a previous podcast, where it's like, if I take one payout in a month for $3,500, that's awesome. But it's like, at some point, that's not financially sustainable as a full-time trader.
Mm-hmm.
I can't live off of that. But I have to remind myself, if I'm taking 17.5 in 2 months, that's, it works up to like 24 grand Canadian, 23,000. So I'm making over 10K a month. I can live off that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's how you define, again, we're playing this silly game of prop firms.
Yeah.
Right.
But so someone who's gone from trading more trades in a day to less trades in a day, why are you enjoying less trades?
Because I truly believe, and you'll hear it, it's like a broken record, and people probably think it's so cliche, but less trades means more money. More trades does not mean more money. I'm actually working with someone right now on coaching. We went over his trades, and he had a negative week the last 2 weeks, and he was like averaging 20 trades a week.
Okay.
He had his best week he's had in a long time this last week, and he's only had 10 trades. So double the trades, and he's negative on his other weeks. And when he trades less, it's way cleaner. And he's actually a really good trader. Just the impulses of these prop firms and chasing a payout, these emotions kick in, and before you know, you overtrade, you go on tilt, and that's how you just wreck your accounts, and then you obviously blame yourself. So watching him trade, and he's literally taking one trade, max 2 trades a day, and he's done. And he works a full 9 to 5 job. So he's at the desk for 2 hours in the morning. He's on the West Coast. He starts work at 9:30, leaves the house just after 8. So basically from 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. is his trading window. He trades, goes to work, come home, reviews his trade, whatever he took in the morning, and so on. And it's just very clean and very practical. Not copy trading accounts, trading one 50K account, shooting for one goal of getting one payout, and then assessing, do I copy trade? How many more accounts do I buy? What size? But he's got focused, which is really cool to see him focused on just the singular goal of getting the payout. And he's not. And the thing that stuck out and the thing he reached out to me was super cool, because it was just that term that Tanner used it in Tampa. I use it all the time now, but trading from a place of scarcity. We do it when we realize we're not even there. So, but yeah.
There's good points to get into in there. For me, I have never been one to enjoy putting on risk. I feel like in my trading career thus far, I've struggled to put on risk. Not that I put on sometimes when I put on risk, I'll put on too much risk in the trade, and that's where my tilt shows. But it's never like an over trading issue, and it never has been, because there's just something about me personally that really just doesn't like putting on risk. So going back to your if I take one loss and I just feel off for the day, I'm not trading that day. And then I think it was Thursday is a great example of. So the reason why everyone loves trading the open is because that's where the volatility is. That's where I'm not going to say one directional moves, because that's not true, but that's where these really clean moves repeat itself over and over, like previous day VWAP being hit, opening range being broken twice, all these different things, however you trade, whatever, system, at the open is when you get these clean moves. And then into the afternoon, that's when the algos are going a lot more. The price is a lot more whipsaw, and it just doesn't respect levels quite the same. You see a lot more fluctuation at each level. And so Thursday, I missed the move. It was a clean, it was just a clean short squeeze, whatever you want to call it. And I saw it, and I got to the desk a little late. I was groggy, my brain just wasn't fully woken up, and I missed the move. And then I had the recognition to know it just moves so much that if there is another setup, it's probably not going to be for another couple hours. And now it's my job to accept that I missed out on my money and just got to take the day off. And that's why I think trading is such a great opportunity for anyone who does have a regular job, because if you're on the East Coast, it might be a little harder with the 9 to 5, but on the West Coast, it's a perfect opportunity. And, for me working in the afternoons, I just do my thing in the morning and have plenty of time to review and do a daily review video. That's something that I think is really understated. Talking to yourself during trades or just during your trading session. Tanner definitely mentioned that at the seminar, and hearing yourself out loud say something, even in these podcasts, it's kind of an eye opener, and you can really find things about yourself that you weren't thinking about the same or quite as clearly.
I'm looking I just pulled up my chart from Thursday. And even though it was 3 trades on my calendar, it was actually one trade, but I just took it in 3, the 7 copy traded accounts and the 2 150. So it counts as 3 trades. And like you said, it's one of those days where I used to always be trying to trade this at the top, trying to get the high day VWAP break late. When you missed the move up, you got to the desk 30 minutes late and it's already gone on you. And it would just cause me. And for the longest time now, even talking about it, reflecting, I think I was blaming the first high day VWAP break never worked. Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't the first, because I was waiting for a decent pullback, but now price has already gone up. What is it? 50 points in the first 2 hours of market open. And then the first high, I wait for a high day VWAP break at the top, and I expect it to make another leg up. when we have levels like previous day's point of control above us where price failed to take. It's like looking at that now, I can see that. But before, as a new trader, I'd be like, oh, we got a little pullback here. Let's take a high day VWAP at 50 points up. Today, this thing's going to go for another leg higher, right? So I can totally appreciate the knowing when your setup's not going to present or the market's moved too much, that if something presents, the probabilities are going to be a lot lower because that volume or volatility or that volume has already taken place. Like the buyers and sellers have stepped in for the day, and now they're probably going to take a little break, and the algos are going to take over.
Yeah, so what are you doing on the weekend? How much time are you putting into either chart study, reviewing? Because I know for me personally, it's a lot less now than it was,
Sure.
in my first year. So maybe we'll chat about how it's a little bit different now from what we used to do.
Yeah, no. So when originally I used to wake up Saturday morning a little hungover because I was drinking a little bit more, like, looking forward to having drinks on the weekend. And now I don't even, that doesn't even really excite me unless I'm away or at somebody's birthday, like something where there's value and I know I'm really going to enjoy the night and the hangover's worth it. But now it's just not worth it. But I used to want to be on my computer and watching YouTube videos or just watching stuff and going over stuff and playing with new software, playing with Bookmap and all these things. And now I actually Friday, as soon as we were done trading, I dropped my computer off because I got the memory upgraded in it because it was just running a little slow. And yesterday morning I had a coaching call, which we talked about the markets for like an hour and a half, and that's it. And now we're doing another recording today, and I don't need to. I need to be. I enjoy more time with my family on the weekends now than I was 6 months ago because I was like using the excuse of learning to trade to not to be at the charts. But it's like, really, what was I learning? Maybe I was learning something, and maybe I was learning something from these videos. But there's a time and a place for everything. And now it's like on the weekends I like to detach from the charts. Like I used to say that before, and that word used to get thrown around a lot. Just detach from the charts, and I never understood what it was until maybe a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm really enjoying, like, as soon as I'm done this with you, I'll come to the desk and make some content. But unfortunately, my content is based around trading. But I'm not actively looking at charts and spending too much time reviewing stuff. I try to review stuff every day. And then obviously when we do our stuff like this pod or we have our catch-up calls during the week, we're reviewing stuff already, right? So it's like you don't want to overload yourself because then I think, A, when you have a hot streak, you'll think you're too smart and you'll be overconfident and think you know the market. And then B, when you have a losing streak, you're not going to really see the mistakes you're making because you're going to be overlooking them, thinking, like you were just saying on that trade, like, this level, this level, this level, this level, NQ's doing this is happening, right? Like you fail to zoom out. You're so hyper-focused that you fail to zoom out and be like, actually, there was a level there. Price failed to take that one level, and that's why price pulled back. Mm-hmm. Not because 15 other things were happening. It's because one thing, like I did this last week, and I had a level which was previous day's point of control, and price pushed all the way up to it, took the orders there on Bookmap. The confluence was telling me that level was real. Something was there. There's a bunch of resting orders. Took those orders, and it was a bullish market. And what did price do? Price just pulled back. And then I think this might have been on Friday, actually. And then Israel-Iran stuff escalated again, and then price just kept pulling back where every new trader and their dog was in a long on a Friday on that trade. And how shitty of a day is it to be at the charts all day and end your Friday with that failed high a day VWAP break, or I'm buying the bounce off of the New York, and it was just like the Iran, Iraq, or Israel stuff escalated. And what did price do? I think we had a double break of the IB that day. Like,
Friday was a great example of that, where it was like at the open, we had this super extended move, faked out all the longs, and then it just ripped for the rest of the afternoon. Yeah. So for me, I'm a very, very similar boat. I used to be going to work on Saturday morning, and I had an office, and I could just go do my review in there, and I would I would spend like at least an hour to an hour and a half on the Saturday morning while everything is fresh. And like Sunday was my off day. But now Saturday is my off day and Sunday is my off day. For me, what's really important is that I ask myself a few questions every weekend, and it just helps me level my head and then get back into the next week. So like the things I ask myself is, how did my week go overall? This is just high level. I'm just gonna jot some stuff down. And this is where I feel like journaling, like I'm not big on journaling. Well, okay. I'm huge on journaling and trading. I'm not. I've never journaled in my life before, though,
Same
outside
here.
of trading. Yeah, and all I do is I just write down whatever I'm thinking about, whatever's staying with me. So, like in Randy's case, would be the Friday stream, if that's staying with me, or for me, it's I ended like oversizing a little bit on Friday, but also feeling like I just had such a new week. Like I just felt so different this week, and I'll write a little bit about that, and then I'll go into what did I do well this week, because I think it's just so important to highlight, what went right, and then there's what's an area of improvement, and then this is going to be where I'm going to take it one step further, and okay, this is the area of improvement, and has this been a consistent area of improvement? So places like TradeZella or even just Google Docs, like have it set up so that you can go into your prior weeks and see super easily like what was something that's been a problem this month. And then how am I going to address that? Because we talked about it a little bit on maybe Austin's podcast or something, but like, oh, I think it might have been with Lawrence. We did a short YouTube video about, recovery. And I was talking about how, recovery is great, but if you need recovery for a specific reason, you have to identify a fix. Just identifying the problem is just not good enough. And so that's why you just keep doing this over and over week by week, so you just see the patterns. It's like it stares at you right in the face. And then biggest lesson for the week, and what's my main focus going into next week. So that might be, what was I not doing well, or I try and keep my main focus never P&L. It's never P&L based and always process based. And this takes all of an hour at most, and it's just a way for me to really reset myself. And yeah, that's about it. And then okay, so then the other important thing is I always come into each day with a game plan. So what I've been doing recently is actually waking up a little later in the morning and getting more sleep at night. And the night before, I'm opening my DRC for the following day and writing my game plan the day before. So then when I come in, it's clean, it's tidy. I have everything all set up for me, and I just limit the amount of thinking I'm doing on a Monday morning and then going into the whole rest of the week. What do you think about that? Do you ever do stuff the night before for the
So
following day?
I used to do the complete opposite every morning. I'd be at the desk a half an hour, 45 minutes early to look at things and set this and look at this and look at that. And now it's my wind down routine at the end of the night is get to the charts, set my levels I want to see in the morning, because I'm able to, like, the volume profile I use, I'm basing it off of that day's New York session, which is clearly over, and it's on regular trading hours. So I can set all my levels, have a look at the charts, kind of see, and then I almost take a mental snapshot of the chart. I set up my gratitude journal, I leave it out, my contract, all my other stuff, and I just have everything set up in the morning so I can sleep in a little longer, just like Thomas said. And when I get to the desk, I'm not overloading my mind with, okay, I got to put this level, I got to look at this, and this. I can literally see the overnight session on a 15-minute chart. I have it open on my computer, see what happened in the overnight, see my levels. I have previous day's New York VWAP on. I start a week VWAP, and I kind of just process it all and do my gratitude journal, do some breath work, do some meditation, go for a walk. And I actually get up in the morning now and I spend 5 minutes in bed before I get out of bed and start visualizing my day. And I just lay there for a minute and I just think about what I'm going to do. And then I'll actually even think about if price hit the VWAP here, if this happened in the market overnight, like thinking of the levels I set the night before and how am I going to react to it when I see this? And it's the power of visualization is huge. And again, even journaling. So every Sunday. So one thing I still do on the weekends is I do a weekly report card. I do it on a Sunday. I wait. Some people do it on Fridays. I wait till the Sunday because I want to actually enjoy the weekend, and then it just gives me time to reflect. Gives me time to think about it instead of carrying the weight of a loss or the high of a win straight into my weekly reflection. It can skew it where if I spend the weekend thinking about it, actually, there was no need to be hard on myself. I was just being cute, or that win was a great win, but it's just at the end of the day, it's a win, right? Like I'm not going to be doing backflips coming out of the office, right? So, yeah, that I still do. And like I said, I try to do a couple things at night before I go to bed so that it limits. I truly believe, like, unless you want to trade the pre-market, if you're not trading the pre-market, you shouldn't be staring at the charts pre-market.
Definitely. 100%.
What is that going to tell you? It's going to tell you the people that are trading pre-market what they're doing. It ain't going to tell you diddly squat about what's going to happen in the New York Open. Like you can see some highs and lows, and that's it. That's all you'll get from it. Some levels, and that's it. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of it. So
100%. Though, I think we could probably put a pin in it here. I think we got a lot of actionable stuff, and like we post a lot of our technical stuff on Twitter and on YouTube because we want this podcast to be breaking down these topics, and we don't want to make it too technical. So if you guys are interested in how we find our levels, our strategies, and stuff like that, all the more information is going to be on our YouTube pages linked in the description. But with that, is there anything else you want to add, Randy, before we wrap it up here?
No, reach out to us. And just like Thomas was saying, that the point of this podcast is, to give, to have these just conversations that are not like technical based or this is what I did to be successful. This is just everyday life, what goes on. Hillary just listened to one of our podcasts yesterday, and she was like, I can't believe how much I take away from listening to you guys, where she was afraid to listen to it because it was going to be technical mumbo jumbo. Like she hears my Instagram stories constantly bombarding her with stuff that you and I and the people that watch us, some of the people that watch this podcast understand, so I don't mind it. But her Instagram feed is she probably doesn't. What's a VWAP? What's a this? What's a that? Right? So she really enjoyed it, and that's why we're trying to keep it more or less that instead of showing our charts. So I'm glad Thomas did say that. And this was, Christine kind of ditched us to go to Disneyland, so we got we had to make this episode. It is what it is, but she'll be back. She'll be back next week.
Yeah, we pulled it off. So, all right. With that, this is going to be. We actually recorded this the day before it's going to go up. So, use this weekly review strategy for your week. Let us know in the comments how it went, and have a great trading week, everybody. Cheers.